For today's short devotional, we want to take a look at Colossians chapter 2, verses 9 and 10. And our theme here is that we are complete in Him. Ready for these verses? Colossians chapter 2, verses 9 and 10. Here we go. For in Him, that's in Jesus, for in Him dwells all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and you are complete in Him, who is the head of all principality and power. You know, Christians believe something remarkable about Jesus Christ. We believe that He was and is God. Christians get so used to saying this and thinking this that they often forget what an amazing claim it is. We believe that even though Jesus of Nazareth was conceived by a miracle, He was a man who was born just as others are born. And He grew into adulthood in almost every way, just as others do the same. He worked as a common laborer for all His young adult life, and at age 30, He began a 3-year public ministry. We believe that Jesus ate, drank, slept, used the bathroom, and walked on the ground just like other people did. Now, knowing that, we believe that Jesus of Nazareth was also God in human form, the same deity who created the worlds and sits as sovereign God over all creation. Now, one reason why we believe this is that the people who were closest to Jesus believed it. For example, the Apostle Paul here says it in the strongest terms, quote, "In Him dwells all the fullness of the Godhead." Man, that's a dramatic, airtight declaration of the full deity of Jesus. Since all the fullness of the Godhead dwells in Jesus, He can't be a halfway God or a junior God. Jesus wasn't merely inspired by God or touched by God or illuminated by God. Jesus was and is God. Now, Paul went even further when he wrote that in Jesus is all the fullness of the Godhead bodily. This makes it clear that all the fullness of the Godhead was in Jesus bodily, not only in some strange mystical sense. Now, this radical teaching gives us a lot to think about, but it also has an amazing effect. Did you see the effect that Paul gives to it there in those verses? The effect is this: you are complete in Him. And this can only be true because Jesus is truly God. If He were not God, we couldn't be complete in Him. Anything that says that we are not complete in Him also takes away from the deity of Jesus. And I want you to understand that Paul wrote this as a fact to be enjoyed, not a status to be achieved. You see, if all the fullness of the Godhead dwells in Jesus, and as believers we are united to Him in a faith relationship, then we also are complete in Him. Ultimately, you're not going to find your completion in anyone or anything else. Let that sink down deep into your heart. Jesus is God, and by faith I am complete in Him. Go ahead, say it. Pray it for yourself today. Jesus is God, and by faith I am complete in Him.